Hey, buddy. I was just fixing to say, I can't tell if anybody is in here or not. Official. Sometimes this chat thing works, and sometimes it don't. So. Oh, well, I don't have a choice but to cuddle with my dogs when I go to sleep or lay on my bed because that's where they are or that's where they're going to be if I'm laying down. I don't mind it most of the time anyway. Sometimes they aggravate the crap out of me, but most of the time it's good. Oops. It's his microphone. Hang on. All right. Now y'all should be able to hear me good. Yeah, YouTube's been on some BS. I don't know what's going on with it. Let me see something. Okay. Maybe. Well, happy Easter, everyone. How's everybody's Easter going? I hope good if you celebrate. If not, happy Sunday. Well, I should. It's a new mic. It's not an expensive mic, but it's a new mic, and I just put it closer. When I'm not doing readings, I can put it a little bit closer to me. But even it's done good, even when I'm doing readings. I haven't had a problem with it. I've learned that it's not really about the mic and how much you pay for it. It's about your settings. Now, some of them I'm sure are crappy, but sorry, I'm moving my bracelets. I just did my spray tan thing and I don't want to put those back on because I have to let this stuff sit for like 5 hours. How about I bought this thing last year, it was $99. Now they're on sale this year for $68 and it comes with a damn tannin mist stuff, which that shit's expensive. Because I paid for both the jugs I have, which they're pretty big. I think I paid $40 a piece. Yeah, I don't like the buzzing thing. I got a USB mic. The other mic I had just plugged in. It had the little straight thing on it. And it plugged into like the headphone things. And a lot of times those are crappy. Let's see. I was going to look to see. I didn't look Friday to see if they put any more docs up or not. Because there was a lot of them that finally let me see them. Mm. He is going to let Ann Taylor ask Balance, if he's there, questions. And he's going to let Cyree testify. But pretty much I knew he wasn't going to do anything about the alibi because Idaho law is trumped by the constitutional law stuff when it comes to the alibi. And so it's real funny, like, that starts pressing on the rights of the defendant whenever you start messing with their alibi. You pretty much have to let, within reason, if he doesn't have anybody, if nobody was with him, they're going to have to let Cyree testify. If they even get this far. There's a lot of people now going through reading docs, finding out the roommates, like, they're finding out that they didn't know shit. They were listening to mainstream lies or Gray Hughes or whoever, and we're not getting the full story. And they go and read these docs and they're flipping out. A lot of them that were taken up for the roommates or whatever for DM, they're like, I think there's problems. I was like, that was my whole thing. You cannot listen to mainstream media. Y'all have to read the documents. But there's so many people that don't have time. You know what I mean? And they're not getting, like this one lady said, she left a comment. She's like, she said, I was getting half truths. She said, and so I just thought there was all this evidence against him. She said, it's actually opposite. She said, that's the only reason I was saying he was guilty, because they kept on saying this. And she's like, I work. I don't have time. She's like, but I'm going to have to keep up. I said, if you know where to go or who to listen to that's going to show you the docs, like, that is not biased, like Annie Potts or Jules or something, I said, then you can just listen, Doc Decoder. That way you know what's going on, because I don't know where half the people get their shit from. That Annie Elise girl is like, whoa, wait a minute. Where did that come from? Oh, like, yeah. Y'all better check your sources. Hey, Meg P. Happy Easter. Y'all, I don't know how many people's in here. Well, wait a minute. Oh. That was dumb of me. There's either 4 or 5 y'all in here. Okay. Okay. Did the boys enjoy Easter today, Meg? I figured they were hyped up on candy all day. I also don't think the state is going to like Judge Hippler's ruling on his family, because he's like, look, you got to get him, you got to tell me why you need to call them as witnesses and why they don't, what's the reason for them not to be in the courtroom. Y'all need to call them like the first day. Forensic Frenzy is having a fucking fit. She's like, all y'all pro burgers, y'all don't talk to me until y'all can let this boy's mama go see him, because his parents hadn't done that. She was freaking out. She's like, if the state does not let his fucking family there, that's ridiculous. I'm gonna lose my mind. I was like, are you on drugs? Are you okay? At least she's making sense about that. I was like, well, one, I'm not a pro burger or a not for pro burgers. I'm pro justice. Number 2, we have reached out, and his family does not want donations right now. That's what Podcast with Annie, that's what she was saying. I think she asked Ann Taylor or somebody had, and I guess they have the money to come to trial. It's just all these hearings, and I don't blame them. That's too much going back and forth, back and forth. they do talk to Brian, but I was like, so we can't make them take money. And if we find they need help getting a trial, and I said, even if if you don't think he's innocent, like, she's like, well, I would donate because that's his parents and that's wrong and they hadn't done nothing. I can't believe they're doing this. I was like, girl, maybe you open your eyes and see what else the hell they're doing. If you seeing this, maybe. I would think her fiance, who is a lawyer, would be like, hello. He might have tried, though. I don't know. I think what happens is these people talk to the parents, and I understand. I do feel sorry for Kaylee's dad. I think they've been lied to. I mean, I know we know they've been lied to. I think there's a reason he's doing what he's doing. I think he has a strategic plan. I don't know what the hell that is. Maybe it's not all together. Hell, he shouldn't have to have a strategic plan. The state should just be honest with him. So, yeah, that's me, maybe. That's what I said. Well, I didn't watch her. She was on Twitter, and I saw that. I thought I was going to pass out. But I did let her know that people have reached out, and I think it's too much for them to try to come back and forth for the hearings. And as far as I know, they're coming to the trial. And I did tell her I agreed with her. The state shouldn't have any, like, why would they be doing that? That is blatant, and at least she's seeing that. Like, sometimes it takes that to wake people up. She might see the other stuff. But I think she did the dresses for the girls and stuff, and I think she feels guilty going against anything the parents say. And I understand that, but you have to let them know that you want justice for their kid. You're not trying to go against them because you don't like them or don't like their kid. It's the opposite. And people just going to have to get it. Thank you, James. Happy Easter if you celebrate. If not, happy Sunday. But, I mean, I do. Well, like I said, we know that the parents have gotten lied to. Steve G did not just make that shit up. Somebody told him that shit. And Kaylee's mama fully believes it. Because I probably would. I mean, like I said, they gonna have an issue, and it's gonna be the state's fault. The state, literally, to me, should be charged when this is said and done with conspiracy to commit murder, because that's exactly what they're doing. Exactly, in my opinion. Yeah, like, Drunk Turkey goes further than Forensic Frenzy. Forensic Frenzy will try to make sense of herself. She really does, because she did those dresses for the victims. Like, I think she feels guilty if she says anything. Daniel's doing it for the money. I don't think Forensic Frenzy is so much doing it for the money as she honestly feels guilty. And yes, she gets on my nerves, but you can still tell the difference. And also, she's also thinking it's stupid for the state to be doing that to Brian's parents and family. So she does have some sense somewhere. But yes, she aggravates me, but I think she has a heart. I just think that, I would not, like, I'm not going to get and tell Steve, I'm not going to argue with Steve or none of the parents. I mean, why? That's just stupid. They've been through enough. There's no sense. I'm not going to argue with them. I mean, that's irrelevant. I do think Ethan's parents are coming, or his mama's coming, because she's got questions, like, she thinks something's not okay with what's going on. And like she said, somebody's got to be there to represent Ethan. She was just worried about his brother and sister hearing it. I think she's worried about her having to hear it. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want to, there may be times she said she has to go out of there. And I don't blame her. I mean, what the hell do they need to relive? They don't need to, look. Hearing that shit over and over again, having to think about it over and over again is not helping anybody. She's right. They can't bring him back. There's nothing they can do to bring him back. So, hey, Ro. So what do? You have to try to heal. Like, you don't get over it, but you have to try to half-ass be okay. Because if not, then, I mean, And I do think she was nervous about them being triplets. And a lot of times, y'all, that's a bad situation, especially with Ethan being the dominant one or whatever. Then that could have been a bad situation. And she already said it's going to be hard at graduation. It's bittersweet. Two of them is, and then, you know, there's Ethan. Whether he was going to graduate on time or not, it does not matter. At this point, it is the fact that he's not there. And, you know, that's just, I don't know how she's doing. I don't know how. I mean, she has to. She has two other kids. She has to. Um, hey, Ro, happy Easter to you. Hey, James. Anybody else coming here? I haven't seen her as active with the frat stuff though lately. Y'all know what I mean? And y'all, that scholarship, I fight with people all the time. That scholarship is not for just the University of Idaho. It's not just for a university. It is for air conditioning school, like the HVAC school, for cosmetology school, for whatever. Because she said Ethan would want people to follow their dreams. So it is not just for people at a university. Anybody. She said you can do a 6-month school, a 3-month school, whatever. It's not. And she made that clear a million times. So people drive me nuts when they say that. And that's where the money, she wrote that book. And yes, I'm going to take up for her because Howard Bloom wrote that fuck shit he wrote. And she did not want that man writing about her son. So she wrote a book, and I don't blame her. I don't blame her. Look at what the fuck he wrote. That money, and it does not matter. That's her kids. If she, what the fuck ever, but that money goes toward that scholarship stuff. They don't keep that money. She was very uncomfortable. People were doing like GoFundMe's and stuff. She donated all that money. She did that. They do not feel comfortable taking money. And if people would listen to what the shit that she says instead of just assuming stuff, it's not the same thing as people want to compare with Steve G and them, because his mother and his father felt very Ethan's parents felt very uncomfortable taking the money because she said they didn't need it like that. You know what I mean? Like, she wanted it to go where it was needed, you know, and the scholarship thing. And she may have helped out the University of Idaho some. Who cares? But I mean, her kids go there, so whatever. But I've not seen her doing as much as she was with the university as she used to. So, and she was in a sorority. I mean, you know, that doesn't just mean she's evil. That's what I was trying to tell people. It doesn't just mean she's completely just evil. It just means that you just don't know what you've chanted. You know, it's just the energy around a lot of times. But she had questions. His family, Ethan's family, had questions about why Dylan did not call 911. Like, his stepsister come out and said they all had questions about that. Why? And now that they know what they know, oh, I know that his mama's having a damn fit now. She may not be publicly talking about it because she's not going to, but you know she's having a fit. Because I would be, and I do believe that's why she's going to the trial. So those roommates, especially DM, better be ready because she's all of them are not chanting what Steve G is chanting. Oh, it's okay. I don't think they're all chanting. All the parents are chanting that at all. So, yeah, that's going to be a mess. And I think Bethany's testifying for the defense. So that means Dylan and her story do not match up. And that's going to be another issue. And I think Dylan's going to break on the stand. The domino's going to fall. And a lot of shit's going to come out. And if she don't go to jail, they need to protect her because she could be in danger if shit comes out. And they've protected her this far. They need to protect her from whoever the hell. Because you know they got threat. I mean, somebody had to. I'm sure she got threatened some way. I mean, there's just no way. That just don't even sound right. Hey, Bria. Happy Easter. How are your boys today? Do they have fun? Okay. Okay, y'all. And I know that, and my Discord is still going off and I cannot make it quit with that healing and transformation. And we did some of that. And I know the two of y'all that really want to do it, y'all have the book. So, I do want to get into, I've got to be better at schedules. I'm glad. But, um, like shadow work stuff and and these things will be recorded. So, like, when we do lives or whatever, I'll record it too so people can go back because everybody's schedule's so different. Time zones are different, all of that. But, and I probably will do lives for the people that just want to, you know, there's always about a handful that want the lives, like sort of like a classroom type setting thing or whatever. So, I will go over that, but my mind went blank. Oh yeah, I have the journals and stuff. Like I got them off Etsy. I bought them. I've had them for a while, and I got the ones that go with Canva, and I put them together and did different backgrounds. Made sure they were like bold where the letters could be seen, and messed with the font. It's taken me weeks to do that crap because I'm not patient, and that's not fun to me doing that kind of stuff. I'm not creative like that, so it takes me forever. But I think I got them done. Anyways, saying all that to say this. When I was, okay, and I didn't see any new documents, just the ones that Miss Potts has been going over. And I know there's a couple more she's got, and I'm going to let her go over them because, y'all, I get tongue twisted. I don't understand half that crap, so I literally wait on her to go over them. And then after she goes over them, if there's some that I find intriguing or more important, or not more important per se, but more interesting than others, then that's when I usually look at them again. But now, talking about the shadow work stuff, the healing, the just the smut I call in our world today. Crap. And I think you pronounce his name Jung, Jung, or the J may be silent. I don't know. But anyways, y'all know the psychologists that I think he's related to him. What's that man's name? Carl, and the other one that had different management skills, like literally, and different actually spiritual ways of seeing things. This, I think, is, let me see. Yeah, the fundamentalism, good Lord. Let me see. Dr. George Dieter III is a clinical psychologist, pastoral psychotherapist, and a something, I don't know what that is, but anyways, he studies all that, all these people that are probably going to be talking to. But anyways, it's a podcast. It has Patricia Martin on it. Who is she? Wait a minute. Cultural analyst. She applies its theory to work as a researcher and writer. Okay, so she studies these psychologists and stuff. And anyways, we didn't. I think in school we learned a little bit about these two. There's another one too. I can't remember his name, but anyways, these two guys are very interesting to me, and the stuff that they've actually done in our world as far as management, spiritual, like all of this stuff with psychology period is amazing to me. A lot of people have not heard of them, but hang on one second, y'all. I was reading that. Okay. But I think that it's interesting, and these are things that we can literally put in real life, especially in the world we live in today. Because if you pay attention to the news and everything else, you would be ready to, like, whatever. I don't ever pay attention to it. I think that it's something to keep us in their control and worry and everything. Like, there's a couple of people I watch just to get updates on what's going on overseas, whatever, just to have a basic knowledge, because you don't want to be completely blind. But I don't listen to all the doom and gloom. I'm just like, whatever. They're going to do what they're going to do. It's always a lie, the reason war is being fought. So, the less attention you give it, the less energy you give it, the more it'll go away and not happen, because people's not paying attention to it like they want to. Okay. All right, y'all, give me 1 second. Let me do this. Well, if I would hit the right button. Hang on, what the heck? Okay. Now give me 1 second. And it's just audio, y'all, so it's not video that I know of.
Hi everyone, I just wanted to jump in before today's interview with Vlado Schultz and George Didier that Vlado is going to be teaching an online seminar series, The Mirage of Truth, The Psychology of Illusion and Self-Deception in Radical Beliefs. It's online only, and it's 4 Thursdays, March 7th through the 28th from 5 to 6:15 p.m. 5 Cs are available. So if you'd like to register, just visit our website, youngchicago.org. Thanks.
Jung in the World, a podcast of the C.G. Jung Institute of Chicago. Today we're talking about the psychology beneath religion when it becomes dark. That is, it becomes egocentric and based on projection of shadow in ways that open up serious moral questions. Joining me today are George Didier and Vlado Schultz, authors of the book Dark Religion, Fundamentalism from the Perspective of Jungian Psychology, published by Chiron Publishing. We will link to that below. Let me briefly introduce you two. Dr. George Didier is a clinical psychologist, pastoral psychotherapist, and a diplomat Jungian analyst in private practice in Chicago, Illinois, and the surrounding region. He holds 2 doctorate degrees, one in pastoral psychology and one in clinical psychology. Also joining us is Vladislav Schultz. He's a psychotherapist working in the Milwaukee metro area He holds advanced training credentials as a diplomat Jungian psychoanalyst, and Vlado is the author of several depth psychology books, which we will link to below so that you can check them out. Their book, Dark Religion, takes up the psychology of religion as a destructive force and why it's important to understand the shadow side of religion. Hello, and welcome to Jung in the World.
Hello, Patricia.
So, George and Vlado, I want to ask you right from the top, this idea of dark religion, it's not only deep, but it's broad now in the 21st century. And I want to ask you, what got you interested in this topic in the first place?
Well, I think for myself, I want to say thank you, Patricia, for hosting and inviting Vlado and I. It's a very rich experience, I'm sure it's going to be, and I'm looking forward to the hour with you and Vlado. And I also just, for a brief moment, want to thank Vlado, who invited me into this enterprise of writing Dark Religion and working with them. Thank you, Vlado.
Oh, thank you, George.
Yes, well, I was born and raised in a very large Catholic family, and since a little kid, I was always interested in symbol, in ritual, and Eucharist in the Catholic Church, so I developed an interest in spirituality quite early in my life, and I went on and got degrees in theology, and then I became a little disillusioned with the church and started studying more of Carl Jung, and I think he's the most profound, had the most profound effect on me as a psychologist in the study of religion and spirituality. And I began to ask other questions about religion is so transformative and powerful. How do people become so condemning, righteous, rigid, narrow in their beliefs? How does religion become almost truncated for them? So when Vlado queried me about working with this, I thought it was an opportunity to really explore that element of fundamentalism that I've run across quite often in my life and see it so prominent in our culture today.
Vlado, what would you say about this? You were the collaborator with George.
So I grew up in something that we refer to as a communism, perhaps. Czechoslovakia. I was 17 years old when the communism fell, so it's still quite young. But what I was so you live in communism. I was naive, I guess, enough and young to believe that the truth is something obvious, right? That virtually is difficult to avoid it. And, we believed in communism that it's all just a lie that the party is presenting to us, and they try to spin this and people actually know better, right? But then I came to the United States and my eyes became to be really more open, and I just realized that there was a powerful game here, and that people pretending that the king has beautiful clothes, and that was it permeates the politics, it permeates the everyday life, and I mean that fundamentalism or the dark religion was really so widespread. So I just started to connect the dots, and I went back to sort of my Jung understanding, and I connected the Jung dot with the dot what was happening around me. So it really came from this kind of an inner need to understand what is truth, really. Like, I was playing with the idea, of course, is there a God? What is religion? What is God? And then suddenly came to me, is there an unhealthy way to look at it? Like, what is God and what is religion? So
when you said that word unhealthy, it causes me to ask that other question about shadow material in the collective. And the book does talk a fair bit about the shadow side of religion and what that means for the collective. But as you would both tell me as Jungian analysts, to understand that shadow exists, but to face it is a different thing. It's a different matter. What told you that the collective was ready to face this shadow of dark religion?
To be honest with you, I don't know if we knew if collective was ready to face it. I think it's a process, and it certainly arose in me and George and I guess others the need to to explore this topic. I know we were not the first one, of course. I mean, there were the Fundamentalism Project of Martin Appleby from 1990s, and Karen Armstrong wrote a lot about that. Of course, Chris Hedges and others. And Jung himself, he was exploring this topic since he experienced 2 world wars back to back. And he was really asking this question. Maybe he didn't use the term dark religion. He spoke about isms. He talked about one-sidedness. But really, his take on it was really profound on looking what can happen when the ego hides behind the self, or when there are different phenomena of shadowing the ego, right? Like when the ego is possessed, the process of inflation or illusion, etc. So I don't know if the collective is ready, but we are hoping that we are bringing something beyond sociological and beyond philosophical take on fundamentalism. We try to look really, we all have dark religion in ourselves, and we all have a duty to look at the mirror and try explore how we can become a better person and understand the reality.
So you used the word in the title of the book, in the subtitle, fundamentalism through a Jungian perspective. And I want to get to this definition of what you two mean by fundamentalism.
Yeah, I could talk on that for a minute, but I just want to respond also to what Vlado was saying, Patricia, that what I was seeing in the culture was this beginning of a one-sidedness and a split with religion, politics, you name it. We were moving in a direction of one-sidedness, which is extreme, a danger for us because we become more inflated. We think we're right. We see the world in a very narrow way, and we're not open to criticism. And so I think the book wanted to open that view up and really deepen the understanding of fundamentalism, as Vlado was saying, with a Jungian background. That is working from an unconscious perspective of what may be happening in the world today, what's happening with religion and its history. So I see that's getting worse today, 2023. We're so split in so many areas and one-sided in our culture and religion. Like my God against your God.
Well, and I think we're also seeing an age where, fueled by the internet, where people can form tribes and exchange misinformation and rev people up. I heard a quote from, of all people, Condoleezza Rice. And she said her worry for the rising generations is that they're not talking to each other. And she said, if everyone in your peer group is saying amen, get new friends.
Yes. Yeah.
Because it does inflate people to believe that their perspective is right and other people are wrong. And I think that's what you're speaking to, George.
Yeah, yes, that's what I think we're both speaking to, that in that sense of trying to understand fundamentalism in that light. Because as Vlado mentioned, this could go back, and I'll talk about it maybe to like 1890, a conversation with Jung and his father, and how Jung took a different approach to this, the opposite approach to fundamentalism that the fundamentalists do. Really clearly quite a difference, but we can get into that if you want to define fundamentalism.
Yes, let's take that on, George.
Yeah, maybe what's really in the basic idea, it's a return to the foundational principles or the foundation of the earliest maybe followers of the person who maybe had the religious experience and began some kind of religious phenomena or phenomenological experience and shared it with their people. But what am I trying to say? Fundamentalism really is a reaction to what's happening in our culture. Fundamentalism is a negative reaction. It wants to go back and find security and retreat in the past and hold on to the values, because the fundamentalists seem to be most afraid that big science and tradition is going to be lost because it's going to be replaced by big science and secular rationalism. So they, I think, more than anything, are very scared of losing what gives them meaning, what gives them purpose in life. And with that, they return to the basics in a very narrow way. And I think it truncates their religious faith. It doesn't allow them to be open. It truncates it, cuts it off from new life, and it becomes very rigid.
Locked down, right?
Yeah, locked down. Exactly.
Yeah. So is it a retreat into nostalgia, or is it a kind of building a wall between yourself and the future?
I think both. Go ahead, Vlado. What do you think?
So I think what we started in our book, we started with an idea of fundamentalism, and it really started to expand into really a concept of dark religion, that we could kind of fit under this umbrella, cult or isms or even conspiracy theories or any possessions of mind. So we said that there has to be three elements, that there is an inflation, there's a process of inflation, there is an imago Dei, and that there is ego. And the ego is really the one that is at stake here, right? Like, ego creates certain defensive stances against numinous forces. So when it hides behind them, then that it hides behind the God. And then if it does it, then it becomes dark, and it becomes a self-serving, sort of a selfish game for the ego. So when the numinous energies are, we kind of thought about, not represented or not related to by the ego consciousness in a healthy or integrated ways, then the self is broken up to many different parts, and it starts operating unconsciously. And it starts, the ego takes those energies, use them for their own benefits. So it's, in a way, we can call fundamentalism sort of a shadow religion.
It really denies the living symbol. The symbol, really, their symbols in my world become dead. They're no longer life-giving. It's not tied to the organic inner life of the person. It's sort of given to them from top down, hierarchically, and it becomes concretized and literalized and made into a thing versus a dynamic energy that they must constantly renew and face. Because that literalism, concrete thinking, keeps them caught in the past when they think they're pure and holy and reserved, and they're called to this pristine past, which gives them, I think, the idea that all evil is outside them. They don't have a shadow. The evil's out there in the world. And we, like in the Easter world, we must kill the infidel or the abortion doctor. We must attack the other because they're evil. And it splits that good and evil in such a way, it becomes radicalized, and they can't be critical of their own views and emotions about religion.
Yes, that's good, George.
Yes, that's also very egoic.
Yes.
And I want to lean in a little bit here to Carl Jung's philosophies about religion. So, as you both know, he was raised in a Protestant home. His father was a pastor, so he had a front row seat to organized religion in the Protestant tradition. And he took his own journey of, the spirit and the soul. And I wonder if you could talk a little bit about what you mean by a Jungian perspective on religion.
So the way I think how Jung thought about it, really, that the religion is process of individuation, right? That what Jung referred to as religion, actually we would refer to it as a spirituality nowadays. And often when we refer to religion, there would something that Jung would call creed, a sort of an organized or prescribed religion. But when Jung spoke about spirituality, it really started from knowing yourself. And Jung said, wow, these are the powerful forces within the psyche. And those powerful forces, those archetypes, are somehow pushing or pulling us to feel, believe, or act certain way. So, and if we are not aware of it, we project those onto the others. We can vilify the other, we can demonize the other, and so on. So it is really the withdrawals of projections of those powerful forces and putting them back to the source of the individual, the human being, who finds the answer via process. It's believing in a great God doesn't make person great, right? It's really the deed and the everyday hard work, self-reflection, and I would say the negotiation maybe, or dialoguing with these powerful forces. And Jung said that it is actually, individuation is the opus contra naturam. It's a work against the nature. If we were left onto these forces, then we would be acting purely instinctively like animals, but we would never question those behaviors, right? So religion comes with simultaneously with the rise of consciousness, and with that all the moral dilemmas and paradoxical decisions and so on.
Yeah, that's good, Vlad. What I would trace it back as I was reflecting about Jung and his father. He had a lot of respect for his father, and his father deeply influenced him. But his father, he saw his father as a broken man and a weak man, in the sense that he did not confront modernism. He did not confront the difference between tradition and modernity, science and religion. He retreated into dogma. So when Jung was confirmed and went through religious ritual, he didn't have the experience, and asked his dad. And his dad said, "You ask too many questions, you just believe." And he saw his father shrinking from asking those deeper questions that he needed to. So I think with that issue with his father, maybe 25, 30 years later, Jung made a radical turn and said, what we think of metaphysics and out there, God, it's all inside. It's all in the unconscious. It's in the human psyche and soul. And we must turn within and not look without in the sky for some kind of sky father or sky god, and confront those issues of modernity and tradition, science and religion, where fundamentalists want to go back and grab on to the purity of it and literalize it. Jung wants to open that up, open the unconscious to a living God, what he would call, you've got experience. Have an experience of God or the divine, actually, to become a believer. So his whole approach was to develop a psychology of religious making process from the unconscious.
I want to cue off that religious making process, George, because Jung also believed that religion helps humans cope with the unknown.
Yes.
That it draws us into the mystery and adapts us to mystery, is how I'm interpreting that. And so, I study the digital culture, and I am intrigued to see the heightened levels of deep self-doubt in the rising generations, the uncertainty that they're facing in terms of the planet and the economy and national identities. And so I wonder also if fundamentalism isn't a reaction to that uncertainty. Do you have any thoughts on that, either one of you?
So first, when you said that Jung saw a lot of value in religion, I completely agree with that. I think, he called religion as a psychotherapeutic systems of the mankind. So the religion is a process of consciousness, and those, I don't want to say institutions, but those systems that offer certain container for the affect can be very helpful. So, but it also, if those energies can be used in a very unconscious and very kind of a destructive way. And when you're asking if people react to it, if people find, if people are confused and scared, I certainly agree with you. I think that fundamentalism really arose in Europe after the fall of Roman Empire. Suddenly the structure collapsed, the power collapsed, and so many fundamentalists from our position, institutions were created and become very, very radical, and as a very reaction. So in a way, it's a process of how Donald Kalshed looked at it, that people develop this soothing, cocooning fantasy or illusion that protects us from really facing those big and anxiety-causing questions. And rather than dealing with it and processing those consciously, we go to this idealized state of mind and say, please don't mess with my world. I already found the answer, and I want to be secure here. Just like we used in our book, Odysseus on Ogygia Island, when Calypso, which is the eye coverer or the coverer of the mind, closed his eyes and said, "Don't worry about it. You'll be so safe here, and you just have to stay with me forever, and you'll have a great life." But it didn't happen that way, because Odysseus wanted to leave the island and continue the difficult journey.
Yes, that's a great insight. I also want to see the other side of the coin for a minute, and that is, I want to talk about goodness. George, I have to say that I, like you, I was raised in the Catholic tradition, and there was a common thread that ran through that, and we've all had friends of different religious upbringings, and so we understand, I think, that we were taught of a doctrine of goodness, that you are a child of God, that there is goodness, there is benevolence, there is love there. And how does dark religion frame the idea of goodness?
Vlado, I think you were going to answer that.
But yeah, I can start talking about it. So I look at the goodness as a sort of a concept that is ideal, right? Just like there is a circle, it's a concept, but there is no perfect circle existing in reality. It's a mathematical concept, and the goodness is also a concept that comes from perhaps the idealized patterns or archetypes in ourselves. But in everyday lives, they do not exist. So there is always a shadow behind every ideal. And I think that shadow gets manifested in so many different ways. And I think that looking for goodness, it's a lifelong process that nobody has sort of an a priori answer to. It requires a struggle. It requires looking in a mirror, and it requires asking a lot of questions. Just like Patricia said, like many people don't want their stances or positions have questioned or discussed, because what happens to their goodness? And I in my practice, and I'm sure in your practice as well, you see a lot of people who comes who are sort of victims of God-loving parents, who were taught that's how you're going to be good and that's what's going to make you perfect, etc. And people start living their lives and their ideals bumps against the reality. And with that comes all kinds of feelings of shame and inadequacy and low self-esteem. And I think people, through the individuation process, ought to recover the true self, not the false self that was sort of injected in them through the different expectations of society, something that maybe Alan Watts called a collective hypnosis, based on different expectations and ideals.
That's causing me to say, Vlado, you're raising the issue of the true self and the false self, and I believe it was Hillman who said that the defended self is the false self. And it strikes me that the movement of fundamentalism is very defended. And it, in fact, encourages that kind of going to war to defend these principles of fundamentalism. Does that ring a bell with either one of you?
Sure. They're stuck in that one-sided view, like you're talking about goodness, and Vlado's mentioning it with dark. They need to be integrated. There's, as Vlado says, there's goodness, but there's always a dark side to it. If we only look at the good and live in the good, we're not going to see the evil we are participating in. It's unconscious. We all have to look at our dark side. Dark religion brings that out, I think, to a degree. Some religions a little bit further along that line where they shut off anything that's dark because they've got the winning God. They know the answers, they know the absolute right and wrong, etc. And they can't be open to the evil they may commit in going to war, as you say, Patricia, or starting to say that the infidel must be killed.
Yeah, Jung said it, that religion is a defense against the experience of God. So he really meant like the what we would call the dark religion. That is it's a defensive. And I would like to say it is necessary to be defended against the experience of the God because the self, because it can have a shattering effect on the ego. So there is a certain balance between protection and integration. So these two have to go hand in hand. So the individuation is really a process of letting us to be changed by the experience of the self. But on another hand, it has to come with a sort of a way that is measured and patient and humble if we are not to be really destroyed by it.
You know, you two have studied the work of Carl Jung, and you have been analysts practicing for a couple decades. I came to Carl Jung's work only a decade ago. And so as I keep exploring it, I'm very conscious of things like symbol and ritual. And this Easter, I was very attuned to the experience of, Easter rituals in my faith, and, everything from Lenten ashes on the forehead to, the tinkling of bells and the sacristy filled with the smell of incense, and right, all of that ritual. I got a lot out of that. And so I'm going to ask you what you think fundamentalists are getting out of, personally, what you think they're getting out of their faith.
Go ahead, Vlado.
Okay. I just wanted to be clear that when we talk about dark religion, the darkness only comes from when the ego is hiding behind it. If the symbol is not really used in a way that is transformative. So the dark energies can possess the ego and cause different phenomena, and can, as we said before, it can be projected. It can cause the conflicts, etc. But really, the process of any religious rituals can be very healthy and helpful for anyone who genuinely participates on it. It is really the attitude. It is really the process. One, we relate to the process rather than the process itself, if that makes sense. I think the Catholic Church or any other religious systems grew up out of the same, from the same fertile ground as any other religion. So there is something very vital and important in it, and we don't want to throw out the baby with the bathwater, because whatever works for everyone is really the most important for the experiencer.
Yeah, you both are putting your finger on, Vlado and Patricia, about the symbol is so important in this kind of work, depth work, because the symbol is eliminated in fundamentalism. They have the concrete truths. It's not symbolic. What do you mean it's symbolic? It's not symbolic. But the symbol is the way we engage the divine and the transcendent. It speaks to us because it connects to the unconscious. Those ashes, the ritual we go through, you're bringing dark and light together in a way that integrates them in a holistic, I would say, a holistic religion, and helps us to look at the dark and light together. But without symbol, which I think is a major error for fundamentalism, we think we have it solid, we have it broken down. It's like physics. It's all symbolic reality. We've got to be open to the transcendent and the different experiences of it, dark and light, which only comes through ritual and symbol sacraments, life, through living life.
Yeah, so maybe we can think of it as a sort of, for some fundamentalists, it maybe serves persona, right? It gives them power in the society. It is maybe more like a band-aid. If somebody have a certain beliefs and uses those beliefs against others, against the queers or against women, and in a form of control. So it is really the ego-serving tool rather than individuating tool, which I consider to being increasing insight and being able to ponder and to say, I have a really moral dilemma. How am I going to approach it? And it is painful, and I have to make certain decisions rather than I have a dogma, and that's how it's going to be, and we're going to punish you, or we're going to excommunicate you, or we're going to shame you, etc.
You know, I've been reading the work of young Irish scholar Angela Nagle, and she wrote a book called Kill All Normies, which followed this rise of fundamentalism on the internet. And one of her theories is that as generations begin to retreat from organized religion, and millennials and Gen X's are retreating from organized religion in far greater numbers than boomers did, that religion would have to be infused by something else as an organizing energy. And that turned out to be politics, and that then was fueled by the internet. And that created a relevance for the followers that is kind of keeping fundamentalism alive as a sort of religious mantra. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah. Oh gosh, a lot of different thoughts. A lot of people come to me today and say, I'm not religious, but I'm deeply spiritual. That's that piece about we can differentiate the institutions, and they're pretty much transparent about their own darkness and their own way of using religion for power versus eros and love. And so I think in the Western world, Christianity is undergoing a major transformative moment. Jung said this began like 100 some years ago, and it takes 600 years for the new religion. He used the word 600 years for new religion to be birthed. So during this transitional period, I think you are right, Angela's right, that internet, which is both a beautiful dream and a nightmare, becomes sort of a nightmare when people can sort of become one-sided and find people to support their views and not be more open to the collective community of scholars and people. It narrows their worldview tremendously.
Well, that's exasperated by the algorithms that then
that is true.
Never serve you another point of view.
Oh my God, that's so true. Is that
right? Yes, you begin to really believe you're right because everything you're searching tells you that.
Look what God does. God is the internet now. I get everything I want.
Well, I do want to ask you, because the book talks about the numinous, and that's such an important theme in Carl Jung's work. And I'm wondering, as more and more religious identities get developed and tribes get formed online and people download spirituality apps and it's becoming more digital, where does the numinous experience fit in that digital realm? Can we still have a numinous experience online?
Well, I think that numinous experience happens within ourselves. I think that what is online, or if it's online or is in a church, it is a sort of just the initial impulse, but then it continues. And I think what we try to show in that book, that really the numinous energy comes from within collective unconscious, if you will, which is everywhere, which is outside and inside. We are sort of part of it. It's the holistic life experience. And what people online do, or when people connect online, as you said, there is this kind of the connection, and there is this anonymity, and there is this yearning or seeking for some for some kind of answers. So they get together and the energy starts working, right? So perhaps there are also numinous energies, but they are not represented oftentimes in a healthy way. Say anger that gets projected, the other groups get vilified, and people rarely seek their own self-reflection. Okay, this is my shadow. This is my experience of the self, and I'm now splitting it and projecting the dark side onto the others. So the numinous is present, but the question is, does it help to transform, i.e., does it help to grow the consciousness? And many of those groups that anonymously works and they promote the conspiracy theories or hate groups or you name it, I guess they just get possessed by the dark side of the numinous and never use it in a spiritual sense. But maybe what you are, Patricia, asking, you're asking, could there be a positive numinous kind of a spiritual experience that comes from online groups? That's what you mean?
Yes.
Okay. I'm sure it's happening. I'm sure there are groups that promote a lot of great things. People collecting money for somebody's child who has cancer, or any sort of the goodness that comes from people who realize a lot of things through the society that are open and helpful. I think those things happens online as well.
I think the other thing that is causing me to question this, if I look back to the Greeks and the Romantics, and even some 20th century thinkers and writers, the idea of numinosity seems to rise very much from the physical world, from an experience in nature or, an encounter in the real world. And so I'm just toying with this as a matter of kind of trying to discover where will we go with experiences of numinosity, or will numinosity become, like so much in modernity, will it become individualistic and something that we experience in the absence of others?
I think we may, but I don't think there's no prescribed idea about the form in which the numinous may or may not manifest. In all experience, as you mentioned, nature, dreams, vision, in people's illnesses, in the body, breath work, in an intimate relationship between lovers, in a creative moment with aesthetics, synchronistic events. And over the internet, it certainly can. I know a lot of traditional Catholics who went to Mass over the internet, attended rosary stations. There's a traditional way of it, and also another way to offer that other dark side that needs to be integrated, I think. So it's both a blessing and a curse. We have a dark side with everything and a light side.
I'm not sure what you mean by in the absence of the other. I think the other is so inevitable in the process of life. I can't even imagine how would that be just for a sort of an isolated person who doesn't have a connection with the other, because that's where we actually live the world. All in love, we hate the enemy, we communicate at work with our clients, with our parents, with everyone. So it seemed to me that this is kind of an inevitable aspect of individuation, to have the other as the holder of the other side. As Plato said, that we sort of the round original person was split in two. Now we are looking for them to reconnect. So it remains to be seen what happens with the internet and with artificial intelligence and with virtualization of the world. But that's a really scary idea. I'm a firm believer in nature, and really you can read so many books or watch so many movies about nature, but unless once you go there and once you experience the profound effect on you, then you realize you really have to be there.
It strikes me, Vlado, just now listening to you, that perhaps the serious nature of the planet's condition is the counterpoint to our embrace of technology, that it is causing us to pay attention to the natural world, so that we're creating a balance, and that reverence, we're talking about religion here, and religion invokes reverence, right?
Mm-hmm.
And perhaps the planet is calling our attention to a missing piece of what goes into the numinous experience, and that is to care for the natural world again.
That's very good. Right? That's very good, Patricia. It just dawned on me that Jung said that God is reality.
Yes.
And certainly our planet is real. And if we don't pay attention to it, we cut the trees off, and then we realize there is no oxygen. We're not going to be able to produce it on internet.
Right.
So we really have to start paying attention to what is a reality. And illusion is so easy to fall for that really the reality can have a deathly consequences for us if we don't pay attention.
Yeah, I think what you said was right on, Vlado, and particularly Patricia, you said that so well, that we might look at it as the feminine or the maternal or some aspect of Mother Nature, Mother Earth, the respect for women. There's something shifting, because you look at a lot of world religions and different cultures, it's so driven by a strong or extreme patriarchal stance that's got to soften for an integrative moment, I think, between that masculine and feminine, and not be so righteous and left brain, if you would, saying what we got to do or not do and make money versus taking care of the earth, being aware of the soul of the earth, the soul of religion. Jung said the psyche is religious by nature. Humans are religious by nature.
And that is, that's the drop of hope that I always listen for, George. And thank you both for one of the most exciting conversations we've had here on Jung and the World.
You were great too. I appreciate your questions and the vivaciousness you have to do the work. It catches on, right? That energy.
You are amazing as well, and I love your podcast, and you spreading really the numinous and positive message on internet. So that is something to be said about now technologies that we really can connect via this means and be so far away from each other, physically speaking.
Thanks for listening. If you'd like more information about training programs, live and self-study courses, archives, this podcast, our blog, or to find Jungian analysts near you, visit our website, jungchicago.org. Thanks to our 2022 donors who gave at the contributor level or above: Barbara Anand, Juni Alkut, Usha and Ashok Beatty, Building Leaders Inc., Judith Cooper, David J. Dalrymple, George J. Didier, Mary Doherty, Ryan Mayer, Horace Matthews, Judith A. Robert, Diane Sherwood, Lawrence C. Tingley, Deborah Tobin, Don L. Troyer, Robert Ulrich, Gerald A. Weiner, Ellen Young, and Wei Zhang. You can support this podcast by making a donation at our website, newchicago.org.
Okay, y'all, give me just a second. I wasn't even gonna listen to that all, but that was interesting. So I ended up listening to it. I don't even know how many of y'all are still in here, but Carl Jung and Sigmund Freud, I think was his name. They did a lot for crap. Like personality, even management styles at work. Like there's a lot of different things I want to show y'all that I found over the past couple of years. Let's see. Okay. But these things literally can help, like with working with your jobs. Like it helps you understand your personality trait. It will help you understand your managers. It sounds crazy, but it literally helps you get along with people better because you understand them better. And I know that a lot of people are like, well, I don't care about that, but we have to deal, even if we're working from home or whatever, we have to deal with people and different personalities every day. So whatever's going to make it easier, I want. Okay. 1 second, because I was looking for this. Hang on. Maslow and Rogers, there was stuff for that as well. All right. What is this? Hang on. Oh, hang on just a second, y'all. I got to hang on, y'all. 1 second. Sorry, hang on just a second, y'all. Hang on. Sorry. He's about to get on my damn nerves now. Hang on, y'all. I see what I. 1 second. Hang on. I'm fisting. Oh my God. Hang on. Okay, whatever. I think he's going to the hospital with his dad. I think. I don't freaking know. As long as he's leaving me the hell alone right now. All right, y'all. Give me just a second. It's going to be silent for a second. I have to go pee, and I'm trying to fix my subscription thing. On the side. Give me 1 second. Heck. Lord have mercy. I'm glad she's a mod now because I would not have known who the hell that was. I was like, because I forgot to look at chat, y'all. I was like, who is that? That's hilarious. Hey, Moonville. Hey, Tom. Hey, Ida. Cold and covered. Ida Toes. That's hilarious. Okay. But anyways, I don't know. I'm probably a dork, but I think this personality stuff is like very interesting. I just think there's a lot to learn from it. All right, y'all. Hang on just a second. Jesus. Sorry, y'all. It's going to take me just a second because I got to. Well, what the freak? I just got the wrong damn it. Take me longer because I got the wrong damn thing out. Hang on. Jeez. Oh, stay, don't fall. Everything's going to fall. What the hell did I just do with? What the? Hang on. What in the hell? Is this a joke? What the fuck? I'm getting irritated. Okay. Oh, okay. Wait a minute. I don't. Oh my God. I'm fixing to lose my damn mind. Hang on. All right. Jeez. All right, y'all. Now give me just a second. Sorry. This thing is about to get on my nerves. Okay. Oh, thing. Jeez. All right. Ow. Jeez, having to fill this crap out. Shit. Really? All right, hang on, y'all. I'm sorry. Okay. Jesus. Sorry, y'all. I'm trying to. Oh my God, really. Oh, this is a pain. What is that shit? All right. All right, y'all. Just another minute, sorry. So stupid. Okay. Okay, now I have it. Okay, sorry, y'all. Okay, this is a pain in the ass sometimes. And literally, Scribd always offers what in the hell is that cane? Oh my God. I was like, who the fuck is that? Jesus, Lord have mercy. I don't even know what's going on here. Well, we are talking about Sigmund Freud and Carl Jung, I guess is his name, and personality stuff, and all of that. Dang it. All right. Anyways, what I was saying is, I never paid for Scribd. I just changed my email. I know that's probably bad, but there's no sense because they always have a 30-day thing on it, so. Okay, and all that. That. Okay. All right, hang on. I found this thing earlier and now. Now I can't find. Crap. Ow. Okay, I think that's it. 1 second. Blah, blah, blah. Dang it. Well, need that. Oh my God. What the hell is this? Okay. Oh, okay. Never mind. Haha. I don't have to. Okay, I'm an idiot. All right, y'all. I'm done now. I was trying to. I'm a dumbass. Um, personality. Okay. Now that I'm done messing with that, this is what I was going to show y'all. Hang on one second. Let me make sure that. Okay, here we go. Dadgummit. Okay. We're going to listen to this too, but there's pictures. When I can figure out where my thing is, there it is. All right, y'all hang on because I'm not looking at chat, but I will in just a second. Oh, shit. My stupid control button keeps on getting stuck. It's making me mad now. All right, let me move my picture, y'all. Way over here, make it small, and then all right, 1 second. Shit. Hang on, because that's not. Ah. I'm just going to share this window. All right. Okay, so can y'all see that? Hey, Christy. Hey, Twiz. Oh, that was Kane. I was like, I have her blood. What the hell? Okay. Sorry. I was like, almost had a panic attack. Okay. Happy Easter. Where is Meg going? I will. He was just crying earlier. I think he went to spend the night in the hospital with his dad. I just, God, this is going to sound horrible. I cannot deal with anybody else dying. Like, I've been dealing with people dying since I was 5. I took care of his mama until she died, and I'm just like, I don't, oh my God, it's a lot. The doctor told me literally not to do it again. But what the hell do you do? The thing is, he's been to the hospital 3 or 4 times, and they should have already found out that he had cancer. Like, he goes to the doctor too, so I'm real confused at what the fuck they've been doing. Because he has congestive heart failure too, I think. Like, he retains water like, well, like, bad. I don't, oh my God, I don't know. My brain hurts. I'm trying not to even think about it right now. Okay, where in the hell am I at? That's the wrong thing. That's the wrong thing too. There it is. Okay. So this is, to me, this is really, really cool. I'm going to let it play so I don't have to read it because I don't feel like reading it. 1 second, let me. Fix that. Okay. Oh, we're not doing that. I will read it for all that. It's just a damn chart. Really? Oh, that's because that's the thing. I thought that was a podcast thing. Never mind. This thing is on my damn nerves. No, I don't care about that author reading. I thought it was a... Anyway. Okay. So... Theory of Psyche in a visual guide. Let me see if I can. Okay, yep, I can make it bigger. Did it make it bigger on there? Okay, good. So this is his theory of this. Our socially conditioned personality based on the situation, the persona, the computer program we play life through, the ego, the two divisions of the unconscious mind, personal equals learned environmental, the persona unconscious, and collective shared with your culture, the collective unconscious. Neglected parts of the psyche start stage in Jungian, I guess that's how you pronounce his name, therapy, the shadow, the masculine, feminine in women and men guides us toward our full self by making us whole. The animal, and that's what I was saying, like with that twin flame stuff. I know we watched with Chelsea that's on HBO, that is not, and they're talking about feminine and masculine, and they're not even doing it right. Every man has feminine energy in them, and every woman has masculine energy in them. That does not determine whether you're a man or woman. In order to be a whole person, you have to have that, because the feminine is where the emotions and stuff are. The masculine is where like resilient and stuff like that is. So if you understand that, and that's one reason I'm going over this, is because I think this is important. I really think they should teach this to our children instead of the bullshit they teach. But you know, they would actually have healthy relationships, and oh God, we can't have that. Fuck, can we? Jesus. Anyway, two divisions of the mind: consciousness, what we are aware of; unconsciousness, what we are unaware of. Contains the archetypes, and I'm going to go over those two: consciousness, the collective unconsciousness, the pursuit form of ourselves we strive for in life, the end goal in the individuation process, Jung psychotherapy, the self, innate from the start, but requires inner work to rediscover. The archetypes: inherited forces or push and attraction that drive all psychic energy that guides us towards action by inspiration, enthusiasm, and fear. Okay. So we can go over this a little bit too. And the reason I'm going over the archetypes is, and I need to get that other deck from Ashley, which is emotional wounds, which is who we become or what we project due to the trauma. Which I technically don't have to have those cards because I know now how to go in and do this. I'm telling y'all this because I'm going to start doing session, like class things on this. And I really think this is interesting. Like I said, I do think it would help. It's not just intimate relationships. It's with relationships with yourself, relationships with friends, just all of that. So, and I know some people are like, whatever, I don't want to do that shit. But I think it's interesting. So I'm sure a couple of you will want to. So what was I doing? Oh yeah. Let's see. As you let's see, the consciousness and unconscious mind. Consciousness is what you're aware of, unconscious is what you're not. As you can see, this makes up two main divisions of the psyche. The ego and the persona fall in our awareness, while the shadow, animus, and the self fall in the into the unconscious. Personal versus collective unconscious. The unconscious is further dividing into the personal and collective. The personal is everything in our psyche that is unique to us, which we do not hold consciously in our mind. Memories, learned facts, personal experiences. Sorry. The collective is all the things that we are not conscious of that we inherited either through genetics or shared cultural beliefs. Inherited drives, the need for food, sex, and shelter, strong internal beliefs, ideas of God, the archetypes. What are the archetypes? This is an important concept. They are the inherited forces of push and attraction that drive all psychic energy. We observe them as images, symbols like the magician, the lover, or the warrior. Tarot cards. And I'll go over that with y'all. The major arcana, they're archetypes, and I'm going to go over that. Okay. But they only take on this form to communicate to our conscious mind. Being unconscious elements, they are hard to explain because their very nature, you cannot be aware of them. But just to understand them as concentrations of psychic energy that guide us towards action by inspiration, enthusiasm, and fear. The image of the lover inspires love. The image or idea of the warrior inspires courage, etc. The shadow. This is the first major archetype of the unconscious. This is a psychic energy ball of all your neglected character traits, things like bad table manners, a secret hatred for someone, or that time you went against your moral compass will all accumulate here. Because you have pushed these things out of your conscious mind due to shame, guilt, or refusal to accept something, as a symbol, image, or idea, the shadow will take on a dark, unknown appearance. That is where our mental health issues come from. And I just got chills from that. And literally almost just busted out crying. I have no idea why. That's crazy. But anyway, because once I learned that, I'm not saying nobody ever needs to take medication, but once you learn this, depression is not a thing anymore. Like it's not about whether you're psychic or not, or whether you believe in this or not, or whether you think you're going to. This is not what this is about. This is what tarot is used for in the beginning. it is to help you get to know yourself and figure out, like, even if we had almost perfect parents, guaranteed they put us through some kind of trauma because we're all human, or there was some kind of trauma we suffered, you know, sometime in our life. So that is where all of this comes from. And it's not so much that you just don't have bad things happen to you. Once you learn how to actually do this stuff and process it, then you're able to keep a clear, conscious mind, and nobody can get in your head and make you think anything else. This is where the loving yourself comes in. It's not being selfish. It is knowing that no one can tell you who you are. You know who you are better than anybody. You know what I mean? Like, you know exactly who you are. And once you do that, you attract, it's not like magic, they call that. It's really not. It is literally all a thought process. And so it is crazy. I know it sounds like, I know a lot of people are like, what the fuck? I'd rather just take a pill. The pill does not do, they made those pills, like, I'm not saying people shouldn't take them. There are people who need to take them, but antidepressants and stuff, all they're doing is masking this stuff. Like, if you can figure out how to do this stuff, it's not going to make your life perfect, but you're going to be living your soul's purpose, in my opinion. So this is the stuff I get excited about. This is the stuff I get to help. I like helping people with, like, figuring out, because once you truly figure out who you are, figure out who your archetype, get rid of that pain, transmute that pain, work through that pain. Like, that cult tells you to look in the mirror and tell yourself it's your fault. That is not how you do this. You don't look in the mirror and blame everybody else. Like, you forgive, whether you need to do it literally or write a letter and never send, you know, something like that. It is letting go, figuring out where the hurt comes from and why. And sometimes you don't even realize that's a problem, because you shrugged it off as something stupid when you were 5 and you just thought that little girl hurt your feelings, and really it's masked all this other stuff that, you know. And it's not like I love watching people uncover that and get upset. It's like when they, oh my gosh, is that what that was? Really? And then this and this and this, and then, like, you can see their whole, like, head open up, and their world is completely different. The way they see the world is all the way different from the way they just did 30 minutes ago. And those are the things we should live for. I had to deal with this because I could not figure out, I had nothing to be excited about, ever. Like, what the fuck am I doing here? This is stupid, you know? And I still feel like that sometimes. And I'm not technically, like, afraid to die. There's certain ways I don't want to die, but you know what I'm saying. We all, in my opinion, have a journey. Some of us have a longer journey than others. We're here for certain reasons. Now, I don't want to come back because I swear that I've been kidnapped like Slombella on this planet, and there's a milk carton in another planet with my name, with my face on it, because I'm missing. Because these people are crazy. They hurt kids and do crazy stuff here. But, you know, the thing is we can figure out how to make the best of it or make the worst of it. And learning to shrug off people's negative energy and not let it affect you at all, and being able to do that. And I'm still not able to do that all the way. I'm working through my stuff still, but literally not even letting that affect you is a whole new world. And I'm just saying, who wouldn't want to live like that? Kane, what the hell? What are you talking about? Everything's backwards. Oh my God, Kane. Well, go live. It means I don't have to stay live. But I want to finish talking about this. Okay. And then I can get off here and you can go live because I was basically bored. Anyway, where the hell was I at? Okay, right here. The first step of individuation process, the young, I don't know how to pronounce that last name, whatever, path to wholeness and happiness in life is to come familiar with your own shadow. Shadow work is a path of the heart warrior, which is what I just said. I have a whole journal. Now, y'all, I'm not a therapist. I'm not a counselor. There are people that, depending on what's going on, I might say, you know, you do need to reach out because there are people with other kinds of trauma that may need a little bit more and I'm not ever going to step into somewhere where I don't have education or background. I mean, there are some things I can help through with trauma, but the minute that my gut is telling me there's more, then I'm going to be like, okay, you know, not that I'm not going to help, but I want to make sure people work through this. And America has got bad. It's just, here, take this pill. It makes it better. No, it doesn't. It just masks it because you're not even talking about the shit you need to talk about. And like I said, you could have had a perfect life just about, and literally some little girl that you knew for 3 weeks say something to you that literally caused whatever, and you don't even know that's what it is. And I've seen so many people, y'all, I'm not playing. It's crazy to me. Okay. Okay. So the anima and the animus, I think I'm saying that right. The anima is feminine aspect of a man and the animus is a masculine aspect of a woman. Like I said, we all have masculine and feminine traits. That's why tarot, if a King of Swords comes out, it is an archetype. It is not, that does not mean it has to be a man. It can be a masculine energy. It can be a lady with her masculine, you know, personality side come out or whatever. No, it doesn't mean they're gay either. It's energy. And that's why I get mad at those cult twin flame people that are talking about. They are not, that shit is wrong what they're saying. That is absolutely wrong. They have no idea what the fuck. Anyways, Jung called both of these archetypes the soul image. What he meant was it was the role of these figures to guide one to their inner self. The self. Reaching the self is the ultimate goal. The inner goal, the lost soul we search for. The ironic thing is, we always had it and always will. But life, ego, the complications of living in a society got in the way and we lost access to it. This is you. In its purest form, the ideal way we dream of. Of course, we have controlling forces that, oh, this is all of the devil. Y'all, that is, I cannot do organized control, and that's what I call organized religion. I do spirituality. I don't do religion. They don't want you to find your greatest self, because if you do, you're not going to be worried about their distractions where they're trying to tell you about doom and gloom and war and this and that and get you all kind of whatever so they can have their agenda. When you're living like this, like you know what's going on because you're not ignorant. You don't walk blindly. You need to walk and know what's going on, but you don't give a shit. You just make yourself aware of what's going on and let them do their mess. And when enough people do that, their mess won't even matter anymore. You know. Most of us are living someone else's dream, someone else's soul path, someone else's everything. because we are all MK Ultras. I hate to tell everybody this. We all are in doctrine, and it's hard to break, especially that's why little kids can connect easy and stuff, because they're still, their ego is not developed like a grown person's would be, and they have not been in doctrine. You know what I mean? Like, they're still able to find that. So, okay, so I read that. The aim of life is to reunite with the self, the ego. The ego isn't the prima donna side of ourselves we are encouraged to suppress. The ego isn't that prima donna side of ourselves we are encouraged to suppress. It is the newest aspect of human evolution. The software of gazillion gigabit supercomputer brain runs through in order to interact with the world. The Matrix. When we talk about ego problems, it is when the processing ability has become corrupted by inflation, thinking too highly of yourself, inferiority, blah, blah, having a lowly view of yourself, or a number of problems that all point to the same thing. Like, God thinks you're worthless. You need to do this, and all of that shit. All of that shit. Somebody's ego. Your ego is when, okay, see, now I know, actually, I understand her blueprint and like why she did it with true crime and everything. It's like, ding, I saw the light. Okay, so Dylan, that's what I'm talking about. What do you think she followed whenever she didn't call 911? Her intuition, her spirit, her soul path, or her ego? More than likely her ego. Because somebody else was controlling it. Like, you're not, just because you follow your soul path don't mean you're going to be perfect and always do the right thing. But when your gut tells you something, you do it. Just like whenever I do these readings, I have to take my ego out of it. The biasness I have, the judgmental stuff, and we're always going to fight with our ego. That's the judgmental stuff. That's looking at somebody and saying, oh my God, the first thing you think of. It's hard. I'm 42 years old, so that's all I've lived by is my ego. Because even when I was going to church, they didn't teach spirituality. All they wanted to teach us was God thought you were a worthless piece of shit. You got to do this, this, and this for him to love you. Unconditional love, but, and there is no but. And every time I asked a preacher about all these contradictions, I was going to hell or they didn't have the answer. So I seeked and found my own way, and I think I like it better. Just saying. This is all me and my opinion. You do not have to believe what I believe. That is another thing. How the hell do Christians know that they are doing, how do they know what? Y'all already know where I'm going with that. Anyway, just saying. Okay, now, it is through the lens of the ego we build our conceptualization, God, y'all, of the world. And just being our interpretation is why life is often alluded to as a dream. Both happen in our minds. The persona, an aspect of at least associated with the ego. This is our ability to adopt a different face, personality for a situation. Be honest. You don't behave the same in front of your friends, your parents, your lover. Nor should you. The function of the persona is to survive in the social world. The persona is imagined as the actor's mask you see above in the subheading, and is defined by the Oxford Dictionary as the aspect of someone's character that is presented to or perceived by others, and is also the root for person. Ruminant on that one. Okay, so tarot also will, and I'm going to do the story for y'all, is like a story of your soul's journey. we're actors in this world. Like, we play different roles. Parents, we play sisters, we play cousins. And what we learn is, this is what Ashley's podcast is about. And this is why I suggest people watch it. And you might have to watch it a couple of times and then watch her blueprint, the theory of consciousness, and how what she thinks we're here for, and what God put us here for, and her whole theory of that. The things we have, addictions, all of this stuff, we all have. We're all on the same journey as far as coming into this world like a droplet of water and starting from the bottom and opening our chakras upwards to learn lessons in love, in hurt, in resilience, and all of that. And so what she's trying to show is, and she was doing it through true crime too, everything leads to the same thing. We're all on the same journey to find our higher self, to find the best person we're supposed to be on our soul journey to complete the lesson, whatever that may be. We all have different scenes. We all have different people that come in and out of our life, but people that come in our life, whether they're for 5 minutes or 50 years, are there for a reason. It's all about a lesson, showing you that you've learned the lesson, different things. And I know people's like, I don't really believe that. But if you think about it, you know it's true. Okay, so final thoughts and summary. The psyche is divided into conscious and unconscious. The unconscious contains the archetypes, inherited forces, or push and attraction that drive all psychic energy. The shadow, neglected parts of the psyche, the anima and the animus, the masculine and feminine in women and men, the energies, the self, the purest form of ourselves we strive for in life. The conscious contains the ego, the computer program we play life through, the persona, our socially conditioned personality based on the situation, and then they have where you can download this, and I'll give everybody this link too. So this is what I want to start going over. If you're not interested, I understand, but I'm excited. I'm learning more and more about it. And literally, Ashley's blueprint, I could not understand it. I was like, what the hell does this mean? And the other day when she was going over that podcast, it literally just hit me, because when she starts her true crime channel 2 years ago, she does Kylie Rodney, and she explains the reason she's on YouTube, which is literally to explain it's her higher purpose. You know what I mean? She feels like God has her here to teach, and to teach about soul lessons and stuff like that. She loves true crime though, because people were giving her a hard time, but she's never been here just to do true crime. She's always had a reason, and she's always told us that reason. So the Reckoning Co. There's a podcast she's doing, Bethany, her best friend, and then she did Riley, I think was the next one. But if y'all will listen to her, it explains so much, and I think people can learn a lot from that podcast, and it will also help explain what I'm going over. So I was just excited about that. Nobody else might be. It's okay. I don't mind being excited by myself, but if you're interested in that, I will be talking about it again next time I go live, because I'm going to get the stuff together for us to start that journey. I think it will be fun. I think it will help people in a lot of ways, and it will help you actually help other people. So, and I haven't looked at chat, y'all. I'm about to. Kane, your ass is backwards. I do not know what this link is. What? Kane? Oh my God. Oh, M. Kane Ultra. Okay, I got you. Kane, you already know what I'm talking about. Like, anyway, you could probably help me explain this. Okay, I'm fixing to stop going live so Kane can go live now. I guess Jennifer has something she wants to talk about, which is fine. Okay, I didn't click it. I swear, Kane. Lord have mercy. But, anybody talking right now is better than me. I really just wanted to tell everybody Happy Easter and then tell y'all about this stuff because I find it interesting, exciting, and healing. So the other thing I was going to tell you is if you don't know like what archetype your shadow is, we can figure that out with tarot, with not just tarot, with a couple of other things. So I will talk to y'all about how we can do that, like when I can meet with y'all or whatever, however you want to do it. I'll discuss that too. So I'm really going to get a little plan together. And I'm very excited about this journey because I really do think that it will shift mental perspective in a good way. And if enough people do this, we might have high vibe stuff in the world and we won't have so many people holding freaking grocery stores up and all these shootings that's been going on. Every time you see JLR, ICMELD, or whatever, because that's what they're covering. Somebody's doing this or that or the other. What am I playing, Kane? Okay, hang on, Kane. You're going live tomorrow? Oh, God. Okay, hang on. I'll play that. But anyways, let me finish telling people about this. But anyways, hopefully we can have a lot less of that going on. Also, I do think this is something that teenagers should learn, and it's easier for them to connect to their soul still when they're younger. So, you know, it's up to you. Like, I'm not going to push anything on anyone. But if you tried organized religion and that didn't work, then instead of doing fear-based stuff, let them find their true self. Yeah, plane crashes. Yeah, all that shit. Just negative. Just, and that's, I mean, that's what this is. That's what I'm saying, y'all. All of that stuff will go away if we get enough people with high vibe energy. All of that shit will go away because it's nobody's gonna be paying attention to it because nobody gives a shit. Like, not that they don't care, but I'm saying though, it's all the major. It's all a act basically. Because somebody wants to control something because of their ego, money, power, money, power, money, power. Okay, I'm done talking about that now. And hi, Carla. So, I will probably, what's tomorrow? Monday, Tuesday, go live because Kane's going live tomorrow. So I will get something put together and we will start our journey Tuesday. It's not a hurried journey. It's not going to be a time journey. We're just going to kind of go through it and help each other and see what we can get done. See what we can change. See what kind of new beginnings, new outlooks. I mean, we're here. We might as well do something fruitful and positive, successful, you know. So let's do this. I'm fixing to play Kane's thing now. And then if y'all have any ideas with it as well, feel free to email me or leave comments on YouTube or whatever and let me know. And then whenever I go live Tuesday, you can let me know in chat and we can add those as well because I want whoever's comments, I want people participating because that's what makes it fun. I don't want to have to come up with everything. Everybody's ideas. And everybody has different things that's went on, so it will give people an outlook on different situations. Okay, now let me see. Okay, Bunny, I'm gonna put up a thing like a community post or whatever, and something in Discord probably before Tuesday. So to let everybody know that Tuesday and what time and what to expect and what to come, you know, with ideas for, because I do think it will be fun. And I think it will be a positive change that Everybody needs. Okay, Kane. Is this one I'm playing? Oh my God, everything's backwards. It's making my head hurt. Hang on one second. What is this? Oh yeah. Oh, and Heather's got another one too. Hang on. Did I share that? Shoot, hang on. All right, one second. Doo-doo-doo.
The thing about bridges is that every one of them is an invitation to people on the other side to come over and play. Some of those people might hate you. Some might just be simple or scared or naive. Some are enemies or trolls or federal agents who are best left under the bridge. Those are the ones who will try to steer and poison whatever you're doing if you let them come across.
Really important with the misleading of the magistrate. When you look at 1A, that's the map we looked at earlier today, where there's the whole loop around, but there's a blue line as if pointing the car towards Moscow, and that's not what happened. They then report the phone stops reporting to the network at 2:47 a.m., and that's not right. We submitted their cell experts report that say the phone stops reporting at 2:54 a.m. We submitted 2 affidavits to you from our experts who have worked with the call detail records, and that's just not right. Don't get caught up in thinking 7 minutes don't matter here. We submitted 2 affidavits to you from our experts who have worked with the call detail records, and that's just not right. Don't get caught up in thinking 7 minutes don't matter here. We're talking about ground that can be covered in a vehicle in a short time. We're talking about 2 towns that are fairly close together. And so the way a car points when they go off the network matters a whole lot in this circumstance. That's not corrected in any of the affidavits. That's the part that's really exculpatory to Mr. Kohberger, is what direction, when the phone stops reporting to the network, what direction is the car traveling? And you can know that based on the cell towers, the handoffs from tower to tower as it tracks where a phone's going. The FBI knows how to do this. They chose not to do this. They chose to take a time 7 minutes before it really stopped reporting, and they chose to make a map that showed a direction that that phone wasn't traveling in to create a false narrative for the magistrate to rely on to find probable cause.
Happy November. Whatever you do this month, don't feed the trolls or the feds. Don't let them feed you. Don't take the bait. Don't play with fire, but burn whatever bridges you need to burn. Oh, and thanks for being my neighbor. You can cross my bridge anytime you want. Unless you're a fed.
Really important with the misleading of the magistrate. When you look at 1A, that's the map we looked at earlier today, where there's the whole loop around, but there's a blue line as if pointing the car towards Moscow, and that's not what happened. They then report the phone stops reporting to the network at 2:47 a.m., and that's not right. We submitted their cell experts report that say the phone stops reporting at 2:54 a.m. We submitted 2 affidavits to you from our experts who have worked with the call detail records, and that's just not right. Don't get caught up in thinking 7 minutes don't matter here. We submitted 2 affidavits to you from our experts who have worked with the call detail records, and that's just not right. Don't get caught up in thinking 7 minutes don't matter here. We're talking about ground that can be covered in a vehicle in a short time. We're talking about 2 towns that are fairly close together. And so the way a car points when they go off a network matters a whole lot in this circumstance. That's not corrected in any of the affidavits. That's the part that's really exculpatory to Mr. Kohberger, is what direction, when the phone stops reporting to the network, what direction is the car traveling? And you can know that based on the cell towers, the handoffs from tower to tower as it tracks where a phone's going. The FBI knows how to do this. They chose not to do this. They chose to take a time 7 minutes before it really stopped reporting. And they chose to make a map that showed a direction that that phone wasn't traveling in to create a false narrative for the magistrate to rely on to find probable cause.
All right, y'all. Sorry. All right, Kane. What else? Shit, where's my chat? Hang on, y'all. Kane, what else can we watch? Mr. Not going live till tomorrow. Oh, nothing half-assed. I forgot. But y'all make sure you go to her channel. Hang on. Y'all hang on one second. I'm getting up.
Booties is to keep out. Oh, it's about time to do some CSI. Are you ready for this? Ain't that how you take gloves off? Oh, no, we're not supposed to do it that way. Oh. Well, let's get to CSI. Well, folks, it's me, Fancy Grace, reporting the legal circus of Boise, Idaho this week. We're also doing some CSIing. But first, I thought we'd do a little recap. So, Judge Hippler's interruptions and courtroom antics have been the talk of the town. This week's motions of lemonade were less about justice and more about who could outsnark whom. Spoiler alert, the defense did not stand a chance against Hitler, his gavel-wielding sass. Speaking of sass, let's not forget our dear Nancy Grace, cousin Nancy. Yes, she's still spreading all kinds of misinformation and outright lies. I don't know what her problem is. Maybe that's because we're cousins from another dimension, not this one. But anyway, she's just been spinning tales and telling more lies, and tabloids would be blushing if they heard the stuff she comes up with, I swear it. Good thing them twins are almost 18. What you gonna do, Nancy? I bet they're gonna move out right away. Who knows? Anyway, we have special correspondent Cutie Kitty who's going to give us a little wrap up of what occurred and any special creators that were in town for the events in Boise. Cutie Kitty, what has been going on in Idaho? Give us the rundown.
Hello, Fancy. It's Cutie Kitty. Guess what? I've been working so hard at the Ada County Jail because you want me to make sure I keep an eye on Bryankohberger. And we had a visitor here, Mr. A.R. Hayes, and his beautiful wife, Jen. Hubba. They came by and showed everybody the video. And then when I seen them, they said, "Hey, Cutie Kitty, you did a good job. Took her Brian. He looks better than last time." So I feel really good. I love you, Fancy Grace. You're my favorite crime reporter ever. See you later. Bye.
Oh, Cutie Kitty, that's wonderful. We all think you do a great job. And you're right, Brian did look healthier this time. It looked like he'd been able to eat with a little less stress. And we did find out that Brian does talk to his parents and his sisters on video chat all the time. And that the junkin' chicken was just a fibbing liar. Because he told us that they were going to testify against him and that they turned him in. Nice try, Daniel. So, everybody's been saying that. You're wrong. His family does love him, and Brian is innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. I'm really proud of you, my sweet little Cutie Kitty. You've been doing a great job.
Fancy, I gotta tell you something. Did you see him? Did you see him on the TV? Twizzle Stick. Oh, he's my friend. Oh, Twizzle Stick was sucking his Bryankohberger's coat. He's on the playing with his long beard, he's playing with that beard. Just listening and listening. I just want to say, "Hi, Twizzle Stick. I miss you, my friend. See you soon, buddy."
Oh, that's adorable. I just love that you and Twiz are such good friends. Guess who else is here today? We've got some more guests coming up, but it's time that we got to the serious business, Cutie Kitty. It's time for us to look at part 2 of the CSI. If you haven't seen part 1 of CSI, oh me, oh my, that I did, I think you should go watch that video first because it would tell you all about the rules for forensic collection to be properly done and about PPE or personal protective equipment worn by CSIers that are serious. We're going to take a look at the way that Moscow and Pullman did their CSI work when they were raiding Brian's apartment. Yes, and don't worry, you'll get to see Sheshley and Bill Thompson showing up to help in the evidence collecting. It's wonderful. Everyone's included in all the Idaho things, crime scenes. The more the merrier. Everyone come on in. Let's see. Little kitty, stay tuned, because it's about to be interesting. I'm going to start you off with a few photos. Then we'll have a little guest and a few more photos. And then one more guest. And who knows, we'll probably just call it a day. All right, darling. Love you, kitty.
Are you ready?
Okay, let's CSI this shit. Alright, here's a picture of the apartments. This is where Brian lives. He lives in this one up here. We're going to go up these stairs. So we're going to see a lot of activity going on in this little stairwell, which is dark. So I'm going to do my best to show you, because there's some stuff going on. And I really, truly, honestly, in my big old heart, I think that this could get some evidence tossed, guys. I'm not even joking about that. But looky who's here first thing in the morning. Mr. Bill Thompson. He just gotta be right there all up in the shiznit, doesn't he? I mean, I don't know if they're supposed to go on every raid on someone's house. I don't know. They're looking for evidence, but whatever. So there's a video of this home raid, which they knew he wasn't home, but it was like they were practicing with some young officers or something. I guess it was weird because they kept saying, "Oh, Pullman Players, open the door," 700 times. But anyway, there's some shadiness in that video for sure. And they redacted most of it, so you just get like black out of everything. And then you got Don Daniels, who's like, just so you know, my body camera's on. It's like, why are cops always saying that? Because, you know, it seems like they're going to say something nefarious. Because if it was just like personal information, they would redact that. But they got to warn each other about it. I don't know. We got to figure out a system for these body cams where they're not controlled by the officers. They just come on and they have to be warned or something. Anyway, if you want immunity, that's what's going to take for me. But anywho, let's see. Okay, so you got Bill Thompson here. We're here. It's early in the morning. That's what's about to go down. Okay, you're going to see Billy Bob. It's going to go up in here. Now, normally, like I said in the other video, you'd set up like a staging area. Well, in Pullman, the way they do things here around Moscow Pullman area is they just like to throw some Tupperware containers down, and they dig through that stuff wearing the same damn gloves they're wearing in and out of the house. You know, real professional. So, let's go. Next photo. Okay, right here is where I'm showing you. This is their staging area. This is their box O stuff. Whatever's in there. And their little bag they roll up. And yeah, this is where they're prepped at the top of the stairs. Okay, so now you got a nice little look at it. Not what I've always seen. Some people even have tents set up, but Lord. Okay, so there's that. Next. Okay, now in this photo, this is in the morning still. This is to show you that there were 2 vehicles that belong to the forensics department. One is state, I believe, and one is the local. So you got this black truck here, which we've seen at the other crime scenes, and this silver truck, and then they put their little crime tape up. But so you got this guy who, if you know who this is, leave me something in the comments, please, because I either am not sure who this man is or I'm not aware of it. But we'll be looking at him a little closer in a little bit here. He's just this big bald guy with a beard. This is a reporter, so no importance here, but okay. So the guy that Brian's dad introduced him to, which kind of makes more sense now to me, knowing that he has autism, that he could have that little bit of lack of social, I don't know, outwardness, so that, maybe that was, it makes more sense, that a 28-year-old man's dad would be trying to, make him friends. I'm with you. I'm picking it up. So, that gentleman, though, he lived right here across the hall, and down below was the family, oddly, that said he liked to vacuum late at night, which I vacuum 5 times a day. I have cats. They shred on cardboard. Next! Okay, so here's a closer picture of that guy that I was telling you about. If you know who that is, just let me know in the comments, pretty please. Here's our lead lady. Remember Miss Coffee on the laptop? On the laptop? Yeah, from the last one, that's her. You'll notice she's touching her truck, getting out supplies, got them gloves on. Outside. You're not supposed to wear them outside. Yeah, tell me how you're going to wear these gloves in and out, touching everything, when everybody's everything has been carried in the same truck from every crime scene. You know they're not sterilizing that truck from top to bottom inside. I mean, they're not. You can look at this. Just gonna touch everything. Just gonna go over here, touch the truck, touch the ladder. Okay, so then SWAT guys, they're all inside there. There's probably like 4 or 5 people, 6 people already in there, okay? And you got like the door talkers up there squatting. Here she is. There's that lady getting in the vehicle too. So she's tucked all inside the vehicle. Who knows who's ridden in there? Oh! Now, remember, strict protocols. Forensic teams follow strict protocols to minimize contamination. This includes using clean gloves and tools for each piece of evidence and changing gloves often. Frequently. Now, looky here. Look at her. Coming down the railing. And she's got booties on now, too. I mean, have you ever? She's got her little partner in crime up there. She's got her booties on, too. Now, what good is this? What is this? Oh,
hi,
hello.
Nancy.
Hey, honey.
Just got a couple questions about this forensics team here.
Sure.
The point of wearing the booties is to keep outside elements from getting into the scene, correct?
Correct.
So, we've got these ladies who have no cover on their hair, who could be covered in cat hair, dog hair. We don't know. They have no coveralls on.
Very true.
They come out here. They're standing at the top of the stairs where the police were, walking around in their shoes. Everybody's walking around in this area. It's not been sterilized.
No.
They take their bare hands, grab some booties, put new booties on, and stand in the same spot where they have been outside. It doesn't make any sense. And then they walk back inside.
You're right. What's the point of the booties?
This is the worst forensics collection team I have ever seen.
I'm inclined to
And
agree.
I've seen a lot of crime shows.
Oh, could this be the no-face, one eyebrow, vacuum holding maniac? Oh, looky there. Looks kind of like a fireman. All right, guys, let's get to this. That's old Bill going up the stairs, and this is Sheshley right there with him. Okay, they're at the top of the steps. Got your ladies over here standing behind the stairs because, this is their awesome setup. Looky here. Bags unsealed evidence bags. Open bags. No labeling. That's a big no-no. There's no crime scene evidence tape on that at all. So you're going to watch this area, okay? This is them going up the stairs because I'm just showing you again because I know it's a little hard to see sometimes. They go up the stairs. They're chitty-chatting. Now watch this person over here in the stairwell. Somebody's over there. They just took that booty off. Did you see that? Okay. So that blue booty just came off. And he's putting the blue booty on over here. Leaning his butt up against the wall. Okay, she's got one on. But we're just going to step all over the ground. Like, I don't understand what they think the booties are for. It's like they think it's to protect their feet from whatever could be crime scene stuff. Okay, so I slowed it down here so you can just really watch. These suckers, man. So they finally get two booties on. Bill's like, ugh! Smacking his hands. You know that freaking Bill. And then look, just touch the door. He don't have any gloves on. And in we go. Let's go. And the reporters said they were in there for hours. What in the world? It's a small apartment, guys. What were they doing in there? Oh, just chitty-chatting. Here's my mystery man. Just pay attention. See anything weird? What are we... What? You need to see that again, don't you? Okay, here they go. Come on, let's go look through Brian's underwear drawer. I mean, what are they doing? Well, here comes the act. This is what I'm very serious, guys. I think this could get the case evidence dropped. What's in your damn hand, sir? Do we take home souvenirs? Knife sheaths, maybe? I don't know. I'm not accusing. I'm just inquiring. I have watched this tape over and over and over again for over a year now. And I keep trying to come up with a reason. Why would you leave and take something? Like, why would you keep those crime scene booties, Because now you're taking something out of there to the next place, wherever you are. What if that next place was straight on over to the King Roadhouse? I mean, things should have already been in evidence. But I don't know. Do we have a log? Do we have a chain of custody? What is that, sir? Like, really, what is that? You can tell there's something of substance because he's carrying it down the stairs. I think this could be a very big problem. A very big problem. Miss Ann Taylor, I hope that you have already seen this. If not, hi. Whoop, whoop. Give me a call. Y'all remember the professor? Yeah. Professor, he knows everything about what's down there. Smart fella, but a little bit of a Crazy. Anywho, he's married. Can you believe that? Mm-hmm. And her name's Dee Dee. I love everything that's double D's, like Dolly Parton, and I'm OG double D. What? Anyway, let's ask Dee Dee. Let's ask Dee Dee. That's what I want to do. Okay, Dee Dee, I'm gonna need you to come on panel and tell me like you would tell Nancy Grace what is going on at this crime scene. I mean, what is going on? Go.
Thank you for having me, Fancy. I am so glad that I could be of help to you. I know you have spoke to my husband, the professor. Well, I am expert in forensics. Yeah, my name is Didi. Ah, yes, I can tell you about that. Okay, I stay on the subject. So, Sir Officer, leaving the apartment of Mr. Bryankohberger, it'll make no sense, sir. In all my many years of forensics expertise, I never seen anyone come out to the staging area, take off the booties and the gloves, and then proceed to take them with them, wrapped around precariously, I should say. Explain yourself, sir. Why would you take those things with you? Were you hiding something? It is very, very improper. Thank you, Fancy. I love your show. We did a lot of training on this police force, and I'll be damned if some fancy Grace is gonna tell me that I did anything wrong at a suspect's house raid or a crime scene. I'm a cop. You don't second guess cops, and you don't drink Truly seltzers around here. No, you don't drink the White Claws in Moscow.
Somehow it always comes back to the Truly Seltzers, doesn't it? Thank you all for joining me. I really do appreciate it. If you would be so kind as to hit the like, or the unlike, or the subscribe button, especially, that would be amazing. We are getting closer to 400 subscribers. I am very excited about that, and I welcome all of you. Let us always remember and keep in our hearts all of the families and loved ones and friends that are affected by this case. Because Ethan, Xana, Kaylee, and Maddie were taken unfairly, and we need to find them justice. So, all of the true crimers, they're going through, there's a bunch of you going through some health stuff right now. I just wanted to tell you, we are all here to support you. I will send you my positive vibes. We will hold down the fort for you. Team. And remember, try to stay positive, everyone, because negative energy is just not healthy. It really isn't. And I have to have faith. Because I don't do anything half-assed. So, I'm going to ask every damn question I have to ask. I'm going to turn over every freaking stone. Hey, toes. And I'm going to be here for you if you subscribe and join. Take care, everyone. It's been awesome tonight. Thank you for joining Fancy Grace. Next one, Nancy, might be coming at you.
It almost made me cry. I think I accidentally dozed off, like at the very end of that when I was watching it last night or night before last. But I love her. She's very sweet. Y'all go over to her channel, like the video, subscribe. Christy put a link in the chat. And thank you for doing that. Hey, Meanie. Kane, are you still in here? Twiz, did you see the cat that was talking about you on Nothing Half-Assed her video? It was so cute. Who knows, girl? I mean, what was any of them doing? I don't know what none of them was doing. I don't even try anymore. Kane must be in Chelsea's thing. Yeah, cutie kitty. I put out a reading of that interview that Dylan's dad did, which is now even more sus to me, like all the way sus. I thought it was 2024, but I guess it was 2023. I didn't realize that, but he did it with the Daily Mail, that Appleton dude. It's real weird how that dude just lived down the street, and that's the only one that he did an interview with, yada, yada, yada. But saying Dylan was isolating and gaming online and healing through the spiritual community and all that good stuff. So I did that reading, and I guess I need to do a little bit more in-depth one with Quinn. I haven't made up my mind if I think he was there. Well, before I thought he was, but now with this stuff with Dylan and her dad deleting texts, like there's not really communication between her and Quinn that we're hearing about. So, on devices anyways. Thank you, Christy. Oh, I thought you had earlier. Thank you. Yeah, y'all go like her stuff, and if you have not subscribed, subscribe to Nothing Half-Assed. She always tells me we can watch her stuff, but I mean, I like for people to go like it because I don't want to take away views or subs or anything from her. And she is awesome. Like, she is, it's more than just a YouTube thing. Like, she literally has checked on me, like all kind of stuff. She's good people, so. But what was I saying? Oh yeah, so I'm not sure if Quinn was actually involved in that or not. Like, I really thought he was, but the more this goes on, I'm not sure. Meaning, I would think Anne has it. I would hope so. I would hope she's got all of that. I mean, I would think she would. You know, they've not mentioned the contamination, and I'm surprised unless that's a trial thing. They have to wait till trial to mention that because they've not mentioned the contamination or anything. But I don't know how it works, so. I was trying to think of what else I was going to tell y'all before I got off here. I'm probably going to do one more Idaho reading tonight that will post tomorrow. Like I said, I was going to do it on Quinn, but I just... I mean, I don't know. It's kind of weird. I may go ahead and do it just to see if he was involved at all. I mean, she may not have communicated with him through any kind of electronic means. But I would think if he was there involved, like she communicated with her dad, that she would him, but I don't know, so. He still could have some background stuff going on to do with it, though. I'm sure that I ain't seen that one and the one with that damn woman. Who's that woman from WSU police? That some about DNA, like Dawn Daniels. There's video for that too. So yeah, I'm sure I ain't seen it. I mean, you know, she's seen the stuff from the house, and they didn't use. I mean, look at. Oh my God, I don't even know. Oh yeah, I'm going to get the archetype spreads. I'm going to try to find those. That way, if you're wanting to do that Tuesday, we can get those knocked out to find out your wound, your archetype, your wound, how you're embodying that wound, which would be the archetype that you're embodying now from that wound, and how you can release it. And, you know, like I said, because there's a lot of times we don't even know that we are embodying that. Like, it's wild, the things that we're unaware of, then when we're made aware of and we heal it or transmute it, like the life that we could live with our highest good, highest self. It's crazy and wild, y'all. I think that was all I had. I mainly just wanted to tell everybody Happy Easter if you celebrated. If not, Happy Sunday. I hope if you have kids, they had fun. I hope you had fun. And I am looking forward to Tuesday. We will talk true crime stuff too. Like I said, I can show y'all how like these true crime readings can go hand in hand with all of this. It's crazy when you realize something like, because I was like, Ashley's so smart, I'm never going to understand what the hell she is talking about. And the other day it hit me all at once. And I was like, oh my God, I get it now. So, again, you don't need anyone's permission to live your highest good and live your life without judging everyone, without falling down that rabbit hole with, you know, without watching mainstream media news and the distractions and doom and gloom, and you can still not be ignorant. Let's find somebody on YouTube that you trust, that knows what's going on. Keep yourself from being not ignorant by just knowing what is going on, but not being directly involved in the negativity. And I'm telling everybody that right there will make a lot of this stuff stop that we see on TV, because nobody will be paying attention to it. What's the use, right? Call it out as to what it is, and that will help get rid of some of the ego problems we have, which will, again, we will stop seeing all this, like people holding grocery stores up on YouTube, people having to stream about that. Schools, there's all kind of schools last week had shootings at them, just different things, and those things will start to cease to exist more because we're not feeding into that negative energy. We will be serving a higher purpose and have higher energy, and I mean, it's like a timeline shift. Like we will be like in another, not dimension, but just another, a higher vibe energy world, and where we love ourselves and love each other and live for our highest good and to see and help other people succeed. And that's how we should live. Not trying to judge who's going to hell for what religion, who knows what, whose God is the, whatever. That's crazy. Hang on, y'all. Anyway. Okay, so that's my speech for the night, my spiel. Yeah, we don't have to live in hell. We can, like I said, we can find better things to live for, make our energy better, our attitude better, our lives will become better by getting a lot of this negative energy, negative things, negative people out of our life. Not being mean, but just transmuting that energy, turning it into love, healing ourselves, healing our trauma, forgiving people that's caused whatever, and forgiving ourselves, and even telling people we're sorry for whatever we've caused. But we're the only ones that can change it, so we can keep it like this and stay living day to day the way we are, or we can do something about it. So, okay, Carla, I will. I mean, I'm convinced that I was kidnapped, and my picture's on a milk carton on another planet, and I'm missing from that planet because, I mean, look at what they do to kids and stuff on this planet. You know what I mean? But we can change that by speaking up, speaking out, trying to get justice, not letting people blackmail us, not being scared of people's power to let them do all this abuse. And once we start doing that, others will start doing that, and it will be like a chain reaction, just like the bad dominoes fall. The dominoes fall in the good way whenever we do things that have good chain reactions. We just have to find our purpose and whatever we can do to spread love and light. Carla, I'm fixing to check my Discord, but y'all have a good rest of Sunday and Easter, and I will see y'all. I think Kane's doing live tomorrow. Like I said, I will put a community post or something up Tuesday for those who want to do these sessions and learn about how to heal ourselves and transmute this energy and find our higher purpose. Something positive to look forward to figure out. I think it will be fun too. Y'all have a good evening, and I will see y'all tomorrow and Tuesday.